Hello, this is a free call from
an offender at the Chillicothe Correctional Center.
This call is from a correctional facility and may be monitored and recorded.
To accept this free call, press 1. To refuse this free call, press Thank you for using Securus. You may start the conversation now.
Hello?
Hello?
Hi, Miss Erin. How are you doing today?
Hey, Gypsy, how are you?
I'm doing all right. You said to call back after the meeting, so how did
Yeah,
it
of
go?
course. It went, let me take out my headphones. It went really well. They want us to rework the opening, and it's like the cold open, and they want us to like basically edit down the scene at the end when you're seeing your dad for the first time.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But yeah, they said it's very close, and we applied for Sundance, which is in January, and then we're applying for South by, which is in March.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh, that's exciting. Did you get?
Yeah, but they really liked it. I showed them the second picture that you sent me.
Good. I'm happy you got it. I was like, your address keeps on changing, like the suite or the number of the street. So I'm like, I don't know if I have the right address.
No, you got it. Yeah, I moved offices from the one in Park Slope. And so Allison and I, Miss Allison, as you say, we got our own office, which is nice.
Oh, that's good. Good.
Yeah.
Well, I'm happy everything went good.
Definitely. How was the weekend for you?
It was good. Last week went kind of fast. It's already my last day of work for the week. So they call it today's my Friday. So I'll be off tomorrow and Saturday. And usually whenever I have my days off, I like to go and sit outside. The weather's getting a bit chillier, so we wear our coats, but it's really nice out, and they just mowed because we're like in the middle of like a cornfield. So they mowed all that so we can kind of see beyond the cornfield, so we can see the trees and stuff. So I'm like, there's life beyond the fence.
Aww, I'm sure it's important to think about it that way.
Yeah. But other than that, I'm doing good. I talked to Miss Michelle Dean, the one that wrote the article. And she had sent me an email, and she was like, a lot of movie producers were interested in making like a TV series or a movie. And but she was telling me that a lot of them were interested in making a horror movie. And I'm like, I'm not up for that. I'm not doing a horror movie because it's not a horror. I would classify it as more of a drama. But there was Lifetime that was interested, and the man that wanted to do the horror film, but he, I think, made a big mistake because he wants to go ahead and do it without, any sort of input from me or my family. He just kind of go on what people said on the online blogs or what Megan Pack said, and really they don't know any part of the story except for the media bad publicity. And he had talked to Miss Michelle without really any sort of agreement being there, so he kind of messed himself up on that. So if he tries to make a movie, there's some legal complications involved with that. So it was a stop to it. But
yeah, Michelle was saying, I mean, he might still go ahead though. Or what did Michelle say?
She said that if they try to go ahead with it, that they're going to try and I guess put some legal blocks in there because he wasn't supposed to talk to her and get that kind of info or whatever to use without me. So at least there could be like a legal block. And, and she said that there was an independent producer that is interested, and she talked to her, and they want Michelle to write the script. And
right. It's Kimberly Pierce, right?
I didn't get her name, but she had told me about it, and I'm like, if anybody was to write it, I would think that you would be a good person to write it, because I've already seen your typing skills, your storytelling skills is what I mean. And I know that you won't portray me in a light that is not true. You won't up the ante to make it some sort of a popular film, by filling it with lies. So, I mean, if anybody was going to write it, I trust her enough for her to do that. So.
Yeah, I think it's good. I think these things take time, and I think it's good that there's interest. And the HBO film will be out probably a lot earlier than that, and I think there'll be a second wave of things like this. Like HBO said that it should be optioned as well. But it all sort of like, my family, my dad is having his book optioned by AMC and by Sony, and so like they want me involved, and so I'm kind of in a similar situation that you're in. And it's just like the basically how I think about it is like, I'm just like, okay, if it happens, that's great. I want to be involved, but like, it's so hard for these things to actually get past development, and from what I know.
It does take a while because, I mean, obviously the HBO documentary is going to come out way before anything else. And, she said that I couldn't be contractually involved. I think that means, involved with, like, telling the story or whatever. But
because of the Son of Sam laws, yeah.
Right. But she said that I could keep talking to her, and I was like, we could talk on a regular basis, and if you need me to tell you anything about what happened, I could be more than happy.
But Rod and Kristy should be involved.
Right. Because, I mean, they're not incarcerated and anything like that. So, I mean,
right.
Really, it would be a better route to go rather than going with someone that just wants to write a horror movie. Because, I mean, to be honest, I think that with the documentary and with the article, it gave my reputation some goodness back. And it was dragged through the mud. And I don't want to have my reputation dragged through the mud again,
Here's a question. What do you want to do when you get out in terms of like what you're interested in, or what do you want to do in terms of work, do you think?
I know that my work is probably going to be limited because being a convicted felon. But I hear that they have a lot of different opportunities for felons at the same time because,
especially a woman.
They like to give people a second chance. So really, I would just like to work with people, get involved with different kinds of programs that I think are like related to abuse and things like that. Really, I'd just like to, put myself out there in society in a way that could help people. I haven't exactly figured out what that, pinpointed what that would be. But I know I love working with people. I love helping people. Just things like that. Things that I think that I can contribute to society.
Right. And then HBO watched the movie on Monday. And one thing, when would you talk to Nick? Would it be at night, or like where was your mom when you would talk on Facebook?
We would talk like at night whenever my mom was asleep, or at times in the daytime my mom would take a nap. So it would be times like that.
So she slept a lot.
Yes. Because she was on pain medication for her
This call is from a correctional facility and may be monitored and recorded.
For her leg injury, and she got kidney stones a lot. So a lot of the time she'd be in bed on painkillers from that or something. So, I mean, it gave us a chance to talk without me being caught or anything.
And so did you have your own phone or computer?
I had a laptop of my own that I went to Walmart. Like, we're going to the grocery store, and I know this sounds really, really horrible, but I would put money aside, and like I'd take $10 out of her wallet or something, and I put it aside, and I saved up enough over the course of a year and a half, and I bought me a small laptop that cost, I think, like $198 or something, and we first started talking on there, and then my mom went to a garage sale, and here was this like little Android phone, and we had Wi-Fi in our house, so I got to plug into the Wi-Fi, and I used the Wi-Fi on it. And then my mom caught me on Facebook, and she smashed the phone for the second time. That's the second phone she smashed. And then I saved up some more money and went to Walmart with my mom, going to the grocery store, and went to the electronics department and snuck and bought a phone, just a little Android phone that I can connect to the Wi-Fi.
And so sometimes, like, you would be allowed to be by yourself in stores.
Right, sometimes, yeah. Like, I would say, I had to go pee or something like that. So mostly it would be like, I got to go to the bathroom, so. Right. Mm-hmm.
And would she ever give you the money that your dad sent for you?
No. Like,
she would never give you money?
No. Like, if I wanted something, I could ask, and she had, like, our money put on a debit card. So she had 2 debit cards. One, she had a bank in Louisiana, which now I know from Mike telling me that was the account that Dad was putting money in for me. And then she had a bank account in Missouri, and that was for the disability or SSI, whatever check that they could deposit there. So if I wanted something, I could just ask, but there are some
Would
things
she say yes sometimes?
I mean, if it was like a Barbie that I wanted or a toy that I wanted, yeah. But if it was like a phone or anything like that, no.
And what about like the clothes that were not little girl clothes, like regular girl clothes?
I wasn't allowed to wear that.
Okay.
Yeah. She would tell me, like, that's inappropriate or something like that. So, and it could just be, like, a regular shirt or whatever, but it would be, like, the baby doll cut T-shirt, and that was inappropriate. So.
And in terms of getting the bus ticket, you paid for that. Like,
yeah.
is that, how did you get money for that? The same sort of situation?
Yeah. I would just take like $10 out of her wallet or $20, and over a course of time it added up. So, and then I got it put on one of those Walmart gift cards. And that's what I used, and I got on the little Android phone, went to Greyhound website and used the gift card to purchase the ticket.
Did he ever have any money?
He would get a check, I think a disability check, but he really, really is a cheapskate and would not use his own money on anything.
Really?
Yeah. So, I mean, as far as I knew, he was broke. So a lot of the times it was me that paid for everything. I'm like, I understand that your mom is making you pay for rent, to stay at his mom's house and help out around the house. I understand that you don't have a whole lot of money, so, I'll try and cover for us.
Right. And did you ever, he doesn't really have people that support him now. Did his family just kind of, sort of wash their hands of him after you guys got extricated? What is the word?
Extradited?
Right. See, you know it, not me. 'Cause they haven't been there at all, right?
No. I mean, I asked him if his family was supported, and he said somewhat. I think that his grandmother or his aunt is sending him some money in jail. Now, I know that I got a card whenever I was in the Wisconsin jail from his aunt and uncle, and they had put $25 on my account, and they were like, we're praying for you both. As far as I know, they're religious, and that's also from him telling me that. And so they're like, we're praying for you both. We wish that you two could have found a different way to go about things, but we are hoping that you two pull through this. And I asked Nick if he wanted me to put some money on your account, and he said that would be nice. So they put $25 on my account.
What did you know about his family prior to going there?
I knew that his mom, and he lived with his mom. He told me that she was kind of protective of him. Now his dad, I hadn't met his dad or talked to his dad, but I looked at his Facebook profile, and you could tell he's into weed and pot and things like that, and government conspiracies. And I'm like, now I see where you get your anti-government conspiracy things.
Right.
Right. But that's as far as I knew about his family. I didn't really know more than that.
Was the mom nice when you got there?
Yes, she was. She was like, be sure to use protection. I don't want to hear any little pitter-patter on the floor just yet. And we're like, okay.
Right. Oh.
But she seemed kind of, laid back. She was nice. His stepdad was nice. His little brother was nice. Just seemed like a normal family to me. Very different than my family, but normal, I guess.
Right.
So.
The Mercy Hospital called me. I called them back today, and they were like, what is your relation to Gypsy? And I said, I'm making a film about her. She has said that we can look at these. These medical records were not in the discovery, and we need to do due diligence, which means basically, we need to investigate this from all sort of aspects. We need those medical records. And, she just was she was really weird. She was just like, all right, well, we'll see. And I was like, okay, do you have any more questions for me?
Right.
This is very standard. And she was like, nope.
Well,
so I don't know what's going to
happen. Have they ever gotten anything like, oh, we're making a film about her? It's not really normal. But I really do hope that they send those records, because I don't know if those were the same records that Mike had showed me. But
No, they're not. I have all of those records.
Okay.
I'm looking for, basically, Dr. Steele said that he wrote up about the DCFS call with, and, that's just, he could be lying. We're just trying to figure out who's lying. Is it the hospital or is it him? Or is it a connection of the two? Okay.
Because I'm like, I would think, because my mom was so hesitant to go back to Dr. Flasherstein. And if Dr. Steele pulled me aside, that would have been something that she would have made comments about and really harped on. And I have no memory of that, So
you would remember.
Right, because it's I'm not saying that it didn't happen, but I'm saying that if it would have happened, I would remember it, because my mom would have said, oh, well, that was stupid, or I don't trust him, or something like that. And I have no memory of her saying anything like that. I remember her saying that she thinks that he's the one that called along with Dr. Flashenstein DCFS, but I don't remember anything about pulling me aside to talk to me privately.
Right. That makes sense.
Right. Yeah. So I would like to know, even for my own personal, mind, to know, who is it, the hospital, or is it Dr. Steele? Who is it that...
I think it's probably both.
Maybe.
Right.
Dr. Steele was my doctor for a couple of years, and then we switched to a different doctor, and a lot of my doctors got switched to Kansas City, like pretty soon after 2007, which I think is whenever I saw Dr. Flasherstein. Because I had my neurologist up in Kansas City, dermatology, ophthalmology, pulmonology, every kind of ology.
Yeah.
So.
Your mom took you to over 100 doctor's appointments between 2007 and 2015. Over 100.
Wow.
I went and counted and figured out, like, how many times you actually got to the hospital.
Wow.
Like, that's I've been
to
in the last
correctional
5
facility
years.
And may be monitored and recorded.
Well, I know that
In the last 5 years, I've been in the hospital 5 times.
Right. I know that we would spend a good month and a half in Kansas City at a time, and we would spend it at the American Cancer Society Hope Lodge, and at times at the Ronald McDonald House. And it kind of just depended on how many doctor's appointments I would have. And really, if anyone asks who was my doctor for my cancer, she had a name of a doctor, but I don't remember seeing that doctor. Now, what she would do is they have the American Cancer Society Hope Lodge needs a referral from a cancer doctor. So I was seeing an oncology dentist at UMKC in Kansas City, and she would get the receptionist to send a referral to the Hope Lodge, and they accepted it because it was an oncologist, dental, but it was still dental. It wasn't an oncology specialist. But they still accepted it, and that's how she went about doing that.
Got it. And then in terms of, this would maybe seem like a really obvious question, but when in the home movies, it's kind of you guys going to Disney World and her filming you as you kind of narrate, like, we're at this castle and we're doing this.
Yeah.
Did your mom, like, make you do that stuff, or is that something you like to do? It's kind of like your own travel channel, sort of.
Yeah, that was the happier times in my life. That was just my personality, We would watch movies together, and I always had a habit of being like over the top, and I would just narrate because it was fun, and that's just how I played around and stuff. So that was just me, having
that's
fun.
Genuine, like having fun,
genuine.
right?
Right, that's just genuine fun. Those were simpler times that I had no idea that anything was going on. I had not a clue.
Can you, and like you can get back to me about this, but is there a moment that crystallized for you where you were like, oh, this is really not weird? Because you grew up that way, so everything was sort of normal because you didn't know it was abnormal. But like, do you remember a particular time where you're like, this is not safe for me. I don't feel safe.
Probably I would say after I ran away from home the first time, it started to become really clear because, my mom would hit me, and that was weird because she wouldn't hit me before that. So whenever I started rebelling, that seemed to be the point where she got physical, physically abusive, and she would, hit me with a coat hanger, or she would slap me, or, it was a different kind of punishment for what I had done. And she would go in my room and break all my things. So in 2011, all of the stuff in my room got smashed to bits, and through the years, I started, she was like, I broke this, now I have to freaking rebuy it. But it was more of if I just did as I was told and behaved in a manner that was approved by her, then everything was fine. You know, we had a happy life, but that started to crack whenever I realized that, you know, why whenever I asked her, take me to physical therapy, you know, I can tell people I can walk, you know, it might be a shock to them, but it's okay, they'll understand. And she's like, you know, some things are forgivable, but this is not. And
what is not forgivable?
Telling people I could walk, you know, just
why
coming out, it wasn't forgivable. And I mean, I'm going to tell you this, but not even Mike knows this, and my dad doesn't know this. Kristy doesn't know this. She had something on me, and I tried to run away for a second time after. And we were in our house. She found my bag, and we had a BB gun on the kitchen table. And she had the bag in her hand, and she was walking towards me, and I was afraid. You know, I was afraid she was going to start beating me again. So I picked up the BB gun, and I threatened her with it. And I never was going to shoot her or anything. It was just
You have 1 minute left.
I kept telling her, you know, please just let me go. Please just let me go. And she was like, no, I'm not letting you go. And she talked me down, and I put down the gun, and then she told me that if I ever tried to run away again, that she'd call the cops and tell them that I attempted to murder her. So
it was a BB gun, but I mean, it's dangerous. But like, so basically, you thought that was as bad as a gun?
Right. I just, you know, I mean, I was scared. She was like, you're going to go to jail. And for the next couple of years after that, it was like something she held over me. So it was like, if you run away, I'm going to go to the cops, and you're going to go down for attempted murder. So, I mean, that's another reason why I just did as I was told. So, and that's something that not even Mike knows.
Thank you for using Securus. Goodbye.